my goodness! Yeah! Holy shit!
I know, it was a very quick...
Aaron!
What?
Where's the Chevy?
It's at home. I brought a real man's truck.
Yeah!
I found it.
Who are we going to make fun of today without a Chevy in the group?
You can't make fun of me now.
You didn't take the doors off. I can make fun of you.
I know, I did not take the doors off.
Oh yeah, that turned out really nice. You're almost
So tell us about it. Tell us about your new rig.
So, it's, I believe it was an 89 Ford F350.
1990.
Brand Horse knows more about it than I do.
This looks like 351 Windsor in it.
Yeah, it's got a Windsor, I believe a C6 3-speed automatic. It's got the transfer cases of Ford Warner 1356. The only thing I'm worried about is that slip yoke.
56 or 45?
It's a 56.
Okay.
That's why I was asking you about 45.
Oh, that's even the 110 version. It's got the PTO cover on it.
You know,
Not that that really...
but with the slip yoke, I don't know. Hopefully she don't flex to the point where that comes out.
Yeah, I think the Bronco version had the bolt-on yoke, if I'm not mistaken.
But it's got 538 gears, lock front and rear. It's just welded.
Both ends welded?
Both ends welded.
Told you'd make it.
Basically, the only thing I did was I added the hydraulic steering. So.
I knew I'd see it.
Fine. Go.
So it had a steering box on it then, I assume.
Yeah.
How was it hooked up? It looks to me like this drag link would have got into the leaf spring.
It did.
Okay.
So that's why I got rid of it. Drag link, the steering arm, when you steer all the way to the right, would hit the bottom of the leaf spring.
That's what I was wondering about. The only solution to that would have been...
Was this your truck?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. There's the original owner.
Together. Yep.
So.
Yep. It happened down here. We're gonna sleeve it right over there in the parking lot, and it started hitting the leaf spring. I was like, it's gonna have self-clearance. It was so tiny with them 42s, they just bent the shit out of it every time you turn.
Oh yeah.
Self-clearance, that's a term you hear a lot when you hang around with four-wheelers. This cool old rig was a Dodge M37 military truck. As you can see, it has an electric wrecker boom on the back. It's running more modern 37-inch BF Goodrich military tires. Now, it's not surprising that this truck had plenty of gearing to get around, but what was really surprising to me was how well the old girl really flexed. I'm sure it probably picked up a tire somewhere during the day, but I never personally witnessed it. It got around extremely well. Steve Myers, the owner, has his own YouTube channel called This Week with Cars. If you want to know more about that wrecker, I suggest you go check out his channel. Plus, he has a wide selection of non-mainstream vehicles that he has collected. Sweet. Now this is the other Explorer that I mentioned in last week's video. I wasn't aware of it, but when it showed up and it said V8 on the fender, I was like, oh damn. I hope that 302 is a strong runner, because these 5-liter Explorers have no low range whatsoever. But as you can see, that tired old 5-liter was not showing off any impressive torque.
can get it out.
Unfortunately, that plunge into that mud hole with such a low-slung vehicle left the starter packed full of mud, so it had to be removed and washed out. It took, I don't know, I didn't time it, but I would say maybe an hour and a half before it was running again.
Yeah.
Dude, that baby's ready to go. Didn't even break the windshield. Well, a little bit. Didn't even break the side window though.
Where's my mat?
I might not have got the winch. At this point, we decided to go ahead and take a break for lunch, let the Explorer sit for a while. Hopefully any oil that might have got in the cylinders would drain back down into the case. Visibility might be a problem. That's not as bad as I expected it to be.
The battery didn't fall out. In the hood.
Okay, lunch break's over. Let's see what this little bitch will do. Place your bets, folks. Oh, it's gonna smoke for a while. They always do after they get rolled over. Pull it over in the shade and get the windshield knocked out of it.
Ron's trying to push the windshield out now so it doesn't hurt anyone. It's better to just take it out of the vehicle.
How'd you get that windshield so clean? Nice. think it needs a longer wheelbase.
What's that?
I think it needs somebody with a longer wheelbase.
Why don't you get on that and build a rig with the...
Well, I was thinking that truck right there.
Okay, go in!
You're the man!
You can do it! Full bunny! Hero.
I've got to figure out one that's going to get a little more wheelbase.
You got this.
You're a hero. If at first you don't succeed, hit it with speed. Right. Love you, man. He's a man. Yeah, bitches. You're welcome.
You're the next Douglas Bubble Trousers.
Where you went upside down?
Yeah. Just back down a couple of feet. Little more. Little more. Whoa, right there. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Oh. Little more. Right there. Yeah.
Oh, that don't sound good. Only one rear tire spinning. Are you kidding me? I don't know if I pointed this out before. This is a V8 Explorer.
And the V8 Explorers do not have a low range. It's high range and that is it. And that's really killing them because that engine is kind of sickly. I'm wondering if his fuel pump is about ready to give out or something. It doesn't seem like it's misfiring. It's just all the cylinders are there, but they just ain't doing enough. Piece of cake. It's still smoking.
That log is straight in your dip.
He did any better.
Ron did put a mini spool in the back of this one. This is a pretty capable Explorer now.
She knows me.
hold up. When you get down to the bottom, when you drop in, don't climb the embankment right in front of you. They said that's where the wasps were.
So go left or right?
Yeah, where those pile of logs are in the bottom ravine, turn left or right, but don't go straight.
It's running better.
No, I think it's a electric thing.
I heard it earlier.
What was that pull down there? Did you say? Yeah, pull up over to there.
You want to do that. It's not, super capable, but it's not completely
It's
uncapable.
doing a lot better anyway.
It's not completely uncapable now.
Get your arm in.
That's the new tough truck challenge. All got to get little bomber explorers and put their tires on them.
From one little I drove that up there.
Like it does pretty damn
It's a
good.
fucking little beast.
Yeah.
It just
Oh,
needs
you
a little
blew
more
the
ground
headlight
clearance. But even so, I was thumping and grinding my way over stuff. Look at that grin. I think he's happy with his new truck.
I'm happy with my new Ford. It's doing fantastic.
I think as the Australians would say, she works a treat, eh, mate?
That's right. Yeah, pretty happy with it.
She seems like a beast.
It's doing pretty good.
I'm kind of surprised how well it does. No more aggressive than the tires are.
Yeah, these tires.
I mean, it's not like they're wimpy. It's just, yeah, the depth of the tread could be better, but
they bite.
yeah,
They do really good.
doing good out here in the dry stuff today. Explorer died. Chicken.
Fuck you.
I'm the one that would get the most money.
Maybe if I have somewhat of a dry side in the mud.
on, that white Explorer can pull you out. Perhaps wisely choosing to go around.
I didn't realize there's a path around it.
Yeah, you say that now.
You're driving really Dude, look at me. This is truly what we call dead in the water. Just rear-end him and push it. Yeah!
Matt, get out of the way.
Yeah, you're way high.
That was quite awesome.
Idiot flopped their truck. Now, wait a second. It's still a little bit Idiot flopped my old truck. Alright, can I give me some cranking stuff? Oh yeah, here.
Alive once more. running my fingers by your ass.
Oops, sorry.
Didn't mean to freak you out, dude.
He needs the lot let out of it. Full body all the way up and over.
Like a glove. This V8 Explorer seemed to be the special needs vehicle of our group, but despite that, the people in it, they seem to be having a great time and rolled with the punches. Always managed to get it going again. I'm betting we'll be seeing them again. Maybe not in this vehicle, but in something else. I think they're hooked. So what's the future plan with this? Well, my daughter said she did want to keep wheeling it, but she wants to get some sort of a roll cage or some sort of rollover protection in there anyway. Understandably, that was her driving when it rolled. That does take up a lot of room inside on a fairly small vehicle like this. I don't like doing exo cages, but Monty showed her a picture of his two-door Explorer and she liked it. So that might be what this gets. Even though I don't like it, I understand why people do it. It doesn't take up room on the inside, and it does protect the body, which we don't really give a rat's ass about this. We'll probably just keep running these seats for now. Find a way to put some racing belts in there. Maybe tie it in with whatever cage I do have going on. Probably go ahead and lose all the rest of the glass. Maybe go ahead and take the doors off, the back hatch. Yeah, a little bit of weight savings there. And keep wheeling it until something mechanically breaks and we have to like upgrade the, well, yeah, I'm thinking eventually, yeah, if the rest of the drivetrain lives other than the front axle, swap the rear 8.8 underneath the leaf springs. That'll give you about 6 inches of lift back here, and then swap in a Ford half-ton 4x4 axle up there from like the late 70s, mid to late 70s. Probably still run the same tires though. But anyway, the future will tell. Hey folks, it's been a couple days after the event. I'm out here tearing apart the buggy to evaluate the damage. Let's show you what I'm finding so far. Now it obviously has a broken axle. Driving out, it started out making... let me back up here. I parked it immediately after it was broke because I assumed it was a broken axle, and I probably could have kept wheeling it in three-wheel drive, but it would have just scattered all that debris that was in there and chewed up the differential, the bearings, the ring and pinion, and it might have done that anyway because I still had to drive it out of there to the trailer. But yeah, by the time I got out of there, it was actually pretty quiet, and I had to help out with the recovery too on the way. But there was still no doubt that it was a broken axle. It might have wiped out the Detroit locker in there too. These are not stock axles. These are 10 factory. I don't think 10 factory, I'm pretty sure that 10 factory is not in business anymore. They got bought out by Motive Gear, I think. But anyway, these had a 10-year warranty on them, and that is long gone. As you can see here, and it looks to me like when the axle broke, as the pieces, you know, spread out and the axle continued to try to turn, it actually tried to force the retainer out here. But anyway, I'm going to tear into it some more and we'll show you the steps along the way, what I'm finding. there's the shaft. What do you think, Kitty? Really? Wow. Well, I guess that's pretty much what I expected to find. I was under no misgivings that I wouldn't have to tear this housing completely down, pull the center section out and everything, because it's going to need to be cleaned out. But at this point, I'm hoping the ring and pinion isn't destroyed due to the shrapnel in there. Got the other axle shaft out. It's looking pretty good. From what little I've turned the pinion already, it's turning nice and smooth, no crunchiness. What do you think, Kitty? You here to help? But I haven't turned it the full. This ratio is like 589, 583, 586, something like that. I know I have not turned it a full 6 turns yet. I don't know if the camera's picking it up. I can hear things clinking in there, but it's turning smoothly. Let's try the other way. But yeah, that is a good sign. It's turning nice and smooth. Let's get that pumpkin pulled out and find out for sure. Alright, I got the center chunk out. Let me show you what I found. This is what I fished out of the housing. Not bad, not bad. Yeah, but the real question here, the ring gear looks pretty good. The bearings are turning nice and easy, so I think I escaped damage there. I don't know about the Detroit locker. For those of you that don't know, typically when you break an axle, you break the teeth in a Detroit locker. I don't know if that's the case with the 9-inch, but in Dana stuff, that's certainly the case. I've run into that many times already in my lifetime. Yeah, here, if the camera will see that in there, there's what's left of the axle shaft. It looks like it goes all the way through, so I should be able to hopefully drive that out, and that might reveal more about what happened to, yeah, it could be the Detroit locker in there. When the axle broke and everything needed somewhere to go, it might have just expanded it and cracked that, so that's always a possibility too. Another thing I noticed, I don't know if the camera's going to pick it up. I got to looking at this axle shaft some more, and by my eyes, it looks like it has a little bit of twist in it, or maybe it's just an optical illusion because of the shininess of the splines right here where it's been engaging. Got a couple little pieces fell out already. Shot out of there. Let's get a look at this thing. Pretty gnarly. Alright, I'm going to pull that Detroit locker out and split it open, see if it busted off any teeth in there. Alright, as you can see, the bearing there is a little bit boogered up from pieces of metal trying to find places to go. And it does definitely have a pretty gnarly catch in it, so that bearing will have to be replaced, obviously. Hold on a second, I almost dropped my phone there. I cleaned this all out. It's pretty scarred up in there, but I don't see that this, I don't know what you'd call that, snout. It does not appear to be split anywhere. Okay, I'm going to drop the ring gear off and split this locker open. Alright, so there's some pretty heavy duty springs in here. If it's anything like the Dana Detroit lockers I've worked on, and I'm sure it is because I can actually see the springs in there. So I've put this in my press, and there were 5 countersunk Allen head bolts around here that hold the 2 case halves together. You wouldn't necessarily need a press. You could do this with a big piece of threaded rod and some washers or scrap metal on each side. But they're all out. Let's see what flies. There we go, nice and easy. That's what we want. Hopefully my press will go up high enough. That's been my experience with these. It's usually all these teeth, maybe not all of them, but some variation of broken teeth in here. And this was the side that broke, and it's looking good so far. Yeah, that side looks good. Yeah, I believe the locker is okay. Okay, so let's talk about my options for repairing this now. Because the one axle shaft is broke, I'm going to suspect the other one. So my first option for cheapest would be to just buy new axle shafts. I haven't priced those yet. I think I should be able to get them for around $300 for some aftermarket stuff. Or I could put stock ones in if I really wanted to be cheap, but I don't want to do that. I want to at least go aftermarket. Now I have investigated the possibility of upgrading to 35 or 40 spline axles, and I'm liking that idea, even though it's going to cost me some money, but sometimes it's worth it to pay a little extra for that peace of mind. What was it? 35 spline axles I can get for, what was it? $300. 40 spline axles are going to be $430, I think. I think it's worth that extra $130 for that extra size. And because that's an aftermarket case with the larger diameter bearings, it will accept. Additionally, I'm also thinking get rid of the Detroit locker and just put a spool in it. No matter if I stay with the 31 spline axles or go up to 35 or 40. A spool for any of those is roughly $100. Yeah, I could just resell that Detroit locker, seeing as how it's not really truly damaged. Get a little bit of my money back out of that. And ever do break an axle again, which I doubt that I would with a 35 or 40 spline axle. But if I did, or even if I go with 31 spline axles and I break one again, that spool will not destroy itself like a Detroit locker is known to do. I feel extremely lucky that this one didn't break. Now there is two other options I would like to show you. So my 17 loyal viewers out there might remember this. I bought this past spring at the Jefferson, Wisconsin swap meet. Just as a refresher, for those of you that don't know, this is what's called an Eaton HO72. These were used, and there was also a Eaton 52. It's very similar, but the 72 is stronger because it has this load bolt on the ring gear. But anyway, these were used, I don't know the exact year, sometime in the early 40s up until 1972 in GM 3/4 and 1-ton trucks. They are very stout without the weight penalty of a 14 bolt or an 80. This particular one, I don't know the year of it, but it's geared 456. Now what I could do, I want to keep my 5-lug wheels, and I've read that these hubs can be turned down enough, and then re-drill the bolt pattern in this, but these can be turned down enough to get my 5-lug wheels on it. Of course, obviously I'd put disc brakes on it, weld up the open differential, and I've got, this is a 78 Ford F-250 frame, and it's got the 1-ton axle. I already have 456s in that axle, and I forget what it is, some type of lunchbox locker. I think it's a Spartan. So there would be a front and rear axle, and yes, it is possible to make these 5-lug as well. But I don't like that option because I'm already running 589s, and that would be a huge loss in gearing going with 456s. So I don't think I'm going to go that route. Now I could make up for the loss of gearing by swapping in a 351 Windsor for more torque, but that would kind of put the Dana 20 transfer case right in the firing line of the bigger engine and the lesser gearing in the axles. The Dana 20 is a pretty good transfer case, but the output shafts on it are fairly small, you know, compared to other popular transfer cases. So let's not push that limit. Let's try to stick with the 589 or 83 or 86, whatever I've got in there. It's something like that, damn near 6. Which brings me to my last possible option. I have read that you could get these axles in a 589, but they are very rare and hard to find. And I am not going to spend all my time scouring through junkyards for something that is almost impossible to find. Yeah, I don't know if these things had tags on them. I'm sure I could find these around here, but I bet they've been sitting so long, they've sunk down in the dirt, the brakes are rusted. If they had a tag on them, which I don't know, tell me if they did, that I could easily read and find out what the ratio was, I'd do that, but I bet they don't. So yeah, I would basically have to pull the axle apart and pull the center chunk out to find out if it had that elusive 589, and I don't think I want to put that kind of time expense into it. I'll tell you what, if anybody out there in the Midwest has one of these, I don't even need the whole axle, just the 589 dropout center section. I would love to have it, because that is the option I would really like to do, was just to take this, make it 5-lug, run the 589, either weld it up or put a spool in it. There is some interchangeability with these in 14-bolt parts. Supposedly you can put, with a little bit of work and machining, you can put a 14-bolt mini spool into that carrier, and then you can use the newer 14-bolt axles that have, they're pretty much the same diameter, I believe, but more splines. It's kind of arguable whether they're stronger or not. I've heard the argument that these older HO 72s have stronger axles because they used a better grade of steel in them back then. If I could, you know, pick up that center section for a few $100s, that would be a much better option than spending $600 to put the 9-inch back together. But it's looking like that's probably what I'm going to have to do. Looks like I'll be taking this to the swap meet this weekend and try to sell it. Unless somebody out there wants to buy it. But anyway, I think I'm going to wrap up this video. Thanks for watching, cats.